Today I'm going to break down a chuck roll and I'm going to show you the multiple cuts that we can get off of this. So I personally always start from the chuck eye side of the chuck roll. So again, the ribeye here. So I'm from the loin side, the neck, and the head of the animals up here. I like to start on the chuck eye side. I can start by just kind of squaring it up. And I'm going to get my chuck eye steaks first. You see here, it's going to be a really nice chuck roll. I like to cut those about 3/4 to an inch thick. And I like to get 4 of those to start the chuck roll. So now I'm going to come in and clean that little chuck eye up. Then I can clean this up, makes a good little Denver steak. So I'm going to show you something here, and there was no fault to us, but in the breaking of this chuck, there was a little cut made. So that chuck eye, never want to send that out to a customer. So when I see that, I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side, and we can use it for stew meat. One more ground chuck. You're going to notice here that one too, again, that wasn't anything that we did. It was just a cut in the break of that chuck. These are pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and keep those for chuck eyes. Again, there's nothing wasted on this chuck, because again, it makes great stew meat. You can come in and make some roasts, all kinds of things, and then all the trim is going to go to a ground chuck. I'm going to go ahead and cut some chuck roasts. Trim that up a little bit. Chuck. This definitely is not the best chuck in the world, but still, it'll make a great roast. And the chuck, it's really one of the most versatile cuts. I love cutting the chuck, can do several things. You're going to notice I'm keeping a good little trim pile over here. Man, that makes a great looking chuck roast. And I just like to come in, like right here, again, this is from the break. I just like to kind of trim it up, make it look decent. Now I'm back into the neck part of this animal. Probably going to get one more small roast before that grain really starts to shift on me, change directions. Yeah, there we go. So again, got some chuck eyes, some Denver steaks. I've got some chuck roast. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut some stew meat. And then all of the trim we're going to use will be for ground chuck. So I have to kind of clean up some of the fat, get some of this lean meat. See here, it makes some good stew meat. Here are those chuck eyes that I discarded earlier. I'm going to make sure and put those into that stew meat pile as well. Be really tender. I'm going to take a lot of my trim. It's going to go to ground chuck. Again, nothing's wasted. I personally like my stew meat cut about 1 inch by 1 inch. And I like a little bit of fat in it. Yeah, and those are those discarded chuck eyes from earlier. I hate to see that go to stew meat, but I tell you, it's going to make some good stew meat. It's a good pile of stew meat, some good looking chuck roast, chuck eyes, and some Denver steaks. I don't really like these because, again, there's so much there. Personally, not a Denver steak fan, and we don't sell a ton of them. So I'm just going to take that, put it into some more stew meat. What started out to look like a not so great chuck roll has actually turned into some really good looking chuck roasts, a couple good chuck eyes, some good stew meat, and definitely a lot of good trim for ground chuck.